So, Machine Gun Kelly and Fred Durst have a new song out, and it's called Fix Your Face. Let's talk about that. It came out literally yesterday. It's been out for around 24 hours, and I really enjoy it. So, I wanted to talk about the song and the production, the lyrics, and all that a bit. I know that some people are not going to like it. I know that it's going to be quite polarizing, but for me, I think it's a really cool song. And I'm not usually a fan of Machine Gun Kelly's work, so this was a bit of a different one for me. Talking about the song sounds like a very authentic Limp Bizkit song. The backing track and the instrumental weren't done by Limp Bizkit the band; they were done by Machine Gun Kelly's usual production team. So they've really taken their influences and put it into this song. And because Fred Durst is on the track, presumably it was with his blessing. The melody in the song is actually very similar to Nookie, so the Limp Bizkit song Nookie. And I think that that's probably where they've taken most of the influences from in terms of the sounds they wanted to create, and also in terms of just the angst in the chorus versus the slightly more subdued verses which you find in Nookie. Because Nookie is very much, the actual main beat is quite heavy and quite metally, and then when you listen to the chorus, when you listen to the verses are kind of more rappy with a bit of a more subdued backing track in the background. So this song, Fix Your Face, kind of follows that. I think that one of the funny things at the start is a friend of mine, when he sent me the song, he mentioned the initial bass that opens the song. And he said that despite the fact that I said to him, yeah, the song sounds a lot like Nookie, the opening bass actually sounds like the soundtrack of Doom Eternal, specifically the song The Only Thing They Fear Is You. Give that a watch and tell me if you think exactly the same. Talking about the Limp Bizkit influences, the thing that really sells this song and without it would be just an average rock song, is the Fred Durst ad-libs. You know, I'm not going to do an impression of them. I've done enough of that in my lifetime. Maybe we'll see how many likes the episode gets and I'll do a Fred Durst vocal special. But yeah, the Fred Durst ad-libs on top of it are really, really good. Really sell the song and really sell the sort of Limp Bizkit vibe and the nu metal vibe that's going within the song. Away from the Limp Bizkit sounds, one of the first things I noticed about how Machine Gun Kelly raps on this song is he really sounds like Charlie Sheen from Hollywood Undead. I really like Hollywood Undead, and American Tragedy was my favorite album of theirs, and there's a song on that which is called Coming In Hot, where the Charlie Sheen parts of that specifically kind of feels rhythmically similar to this song Fix Your Face. So that was an interesting kind of contrast. And I say, I'm sure Hollywood Undead are quite polarizing as well, because they go from having these quite intense songs about quite intense themes to then having these very fun, almost skits like Eminem funny tunes that they do as well. So they could really go to the other ends of the spectrum. And who knows if they were an influence to MGK here, but nonetheless, I think that it sounds quite similar. Talking about the song name is Fix Your Face, and it seems like it's probably about Machine Gun Kelly always being quite a polarizing and controversial figure within the music industry, and he's talking about not really fitting in and for people to fix their face, so to sort it out when they're talking to him about this. If you look back at some of I feel like such a boomer saying this, but some of the beefs that he's gone through with various people. There was the obvious Eminem one, which he did, where they did diss tracks about each other years ago, but he's also had beef with Corey Taylor, the lead singer of Slipknot. To caveat this, I absolutely love Slipknot and will tolerate no Slipknot slander because I think they're fantastic, and also Stone Sour are fantastic. And Corey Taylor himself, where he's singing Wicked Game, where he's singing the SpongeBob theme, is himself fantastic. So talking about Slipknot, Corey Taylor basically came out and said in an interview a while ago, specifically, I hate the artist who failed in one genre and decided to go rock. And I think he knows who he is. So it seemed very much like he was talking about Machine Gun Kelly himself here. And I got the vibe that Corey Taylor doesn't like people treating rock as a kind of backup genre. Like, oh, I tried hip hop. Oh, I tried punk. Oh, I tried this. I tried pop and it didn't work. So therefore, I will now try it on the rock scene. And he wants some authenticity there and doesn't find that Machine Gun Kelly is that authentic. You tell me what you think of that. It's kind of the similar thing with Youngblood that a lot of people have spoken about, whether there's authenticity there or he's just sort of playing at rock star. Again, I quite like some Youngblood songs. I'm just a fan of music. I don't really get into all the beefs and all that kind of stuff unless I'm looking specifically at what a song is about, like in this case. One of the things it reminded me of is recently Charlie XCX came out and said that specifically, I think the dancer is dead, and so now we're making rock music, which it felt kind of strange because on the one side, it's like, are you saying something controversial for the sake of it? Or again, are you treating rock as some sort of backup genre because you think that people aren't dancing in clubs and that anymore, so you're now going to make rock music instead? So I get why there's one side where you could say it's okay, they're not respecting rock music and they're just doing it because it's the next thing to try. Or there's another thing to say that actually this is the, things are moving back towards rock music now. I think trap has dominated the main charts, and then there was a sort of 80s style set of music in the 2010s, and it was R&B before that, and it was rock before that. And there's always cycles of songs if you look at history, and cycles of genres that come in and become mainly popular. So I would say that rock music is kind of due to be popular again, and I think maybe we're going to see a lot more popularity with that. Moving on, so talking to lyrically, end of the first verse, Machine Gun Kelly says, and the old heads always trying to kill the vibe, but rock's not dead as long as I'm alive. So this feels like he's probably talking about Corey Taylor here. And then the second line is quite antagonizing to people who don't consider MGK to be authentic, saying rock's not dead unless I'm alive. You feel like he's really taking the publicity of the beefs back and forth and putting it into this song. And, I think the difference with this song as well as others is there's kind of like a raw angriness to it. And whether you agree with Machine Gun Kelly or disagree or like him or don't like him, you can see that he uses the controversy and kind of pushes that through into what he's talking about. Moving on to the next bit of lyrics, there's a point where he says, they should have never gave me money. You should have kept me in the house like it's 2020 because I'm back outside and got nothing to do except pee y'all off because I got nothing to lose. So I think he's saying here that he's earned well from music, whichever direction he's gone in, whichever genre he's gone in, and he's going to keep doing what he wants to do regardless of what anyone else says. I think realistically, music is a good thing because you can choose to engage with it or not engage with it depending on what you like and don't like. And that could be down to the person, it could be down to the genre, it could be down to the song. I know there's a lot of people out there that can't stand classical music, and a lot of people out there that can't stand rock music, and others that can't stand pop and all this. And you're allowed to have that opinion and allowed to engage with music however you would like. I think this is an example of where, if you think MGK is too much of a controversial figure or you don't think his music's authentic, you can choose not to engage with him, and that's absolutely fine. For me, I'm just kind of like, and so this is what I'll say to finish off this episode. As long as the music isn't being AI generated, like, I am all for it. So, I'm sure that Charlie XCX making a rock album is going to have some pop elements, and it's probably not going to be my thing, and I'm probably going to find it inauthentic, but I would much rather that than just some random AI generated rock album. So, with this song, it's an odd collaboration, but I like the song. I like the lyrics. I think MGK's got a good flow in it. I love the Fred ad-libs. I would have liked a Fred verse himself in like the bridge or something, because I think that would really bring the song to the next level. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the song, and I wanted to chat about it as it only came out yesterday. I know it's going to be polarizing. I know it's going to be controversial. Not everyone's going to be a fan. So let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And if you haven't seen this week's podcast episode, I spoke all about Ghost and their album Skeleton that came out last year. So give that a watch. If you like it, give it a like and a subscribe, and make sure you press the bell icon so you get notifications every time I put out a video. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video.